Good morning, everyone. I hope everybody is doing well. The reading that we have for you today is on the messages that you are meant to hear right now from the universe. We have three piles. You can choose one of the piles, pile number one, pile number two, pile number three, based on your intuition. If you are attracted to the first pile, you could choose this card. And likewise, if you are attracted to the rest of the piles, you can choose those cards. If you do not want to choose based on your intuition, then you could also choose based on your date of birth. The description to the piles and the date of birth will be in the description. So let's take a look at each of these piles for next 30 seconds. You can decide based upon your intuition or upon your date of birth, and then I'll see you in your pile. Welcome, pile number one. You chose this card because you were attracted towards this card, or you chose this card based upon your date of birth. Welcome to your reading. You chose the goddess energy, and the first message that I'm actually um, hearing from the universe is that the universe is asking you to accept and express your feminine side. So, in the past or in the current times, also, you may be or you may have shown the dominant side or the masculine side, which is, when we say the masculine side, then we out to go into the world, and then we out to seek those things actively or proactively. However, when the universe wants us to accept our feminine side or express our feminine side, then that means that the universe is wanting us to be on a more of a receptive um, side, or the receptive nature. The masculine nature is a dominant nature of the universe, which means that you out to go out in the world, and then you out to seek things proactively, which is, from the astrological standpoint, also shows a Rahu element, because Rahu or North Node means that you are going to go out and then get things done. However, when we talk about the feminine side or the goddess side, then that means that we are being directed to accept the more receptive side of us, which means that um, the action is either performed, or this is the time to sit back, relax, and go in a prayer mode, go in a peace mode, and then let the universe do the work for you, which at one point in time we were thinking that we had full control of the situation, but now it's time that universe wants us to take a back seat, because universe is planning, or universe is doing on our behalf. So the best thing that you could do at this stage is say gratitude or shukrana to all the things that you have in your life, to all the people that you have in your life, to all the relationships that you have in your life, to all the projects that you may be expecting to execute, um, to all the new opportunities that you may be expecting to welcome in your life. And that's the key message from the universe for you today. We'll go further deep and see what else is there for us to hear. At the same times, um, we also need to be careful around um, the other nature of the feminine side, which is we must be careful that we are following the path of values, ethics, and nature. We are not exploiting anything which is not meant to be exploited, because when we have some qualities, let's say you have masculine qualities or you have feminine qualities, then we need to ensure that we are following the path of God or the path of goddess, and that we are not um, misusing the strength or misusing the qualities that are given to us by the universe for the betterment of people or the society. We need to be very careful that we are utilizing those only for the betterment of us and the betterment of the people around us, and not just to fulfill or satiate our individual selfish goals. That's the downside of that, but everything which is there in the universe, whether it's a living being or an object, has an upside or a downside. We need to make sure that how do we bring in that balance and carry on with the upside, carry on with the light within us, and not fall prey to the dark forces or to the shadow side. The the universe is also asking you, or I would say forcing you to um, follow a fitness regime. And I'm thinking that maybe of late, or maybe for past couple of months, you may be holding on to some things. um, let's say that you want to adopt a fitness regime, but you may be pushing that to the next week, maybe the next weekend, or that okay, I'll start from next month onwards, and then you are pushing those things. I feel that this is a time when the universe wants you to um, behave or become like a child and be firm in what you really want to achieve. And how a child behaves, that they do not plan for the future. When they like something, then they want to do those things. They want to enjoy and cherish those small moments then and there. They do not push things further. And that's the message which is coming from the universe, that if you have been postponing some things, if you have been procrastinating on some things, then this is the time to take a pause and then um, execute those things then and there, because those things are meant to bring happiness. Those things are meant to bring smile on your face. And there could be some other forces or other people or other situations around you which could be holding you back, which could be showing you the darker side, or they could be saying some things to you. They could be making some remarks or comments which could be hurting, which could be hurtful, and then you may be thinking about those repetitively in your mind. It's like a tape recorder. If some people bring in bad energy in our lives, uh, and if some people come and say bad things, let's say that you are wanting to do some good work in your life, but then the energy of the dark side is so heavier that sometimes it keeps on playing like a tape recorder at the back of our head, and then we keep on thinking about those um, remarks, we keep on thinking about those comments time and again, and we tend to invest time in some trivial matters which are not important in our life, or which are not important in the divine plan as well. However, some things or some people are meant to bring key messages and key lessons, because only when we learn those lessons can we move ahead, can we grow. And when we outgrow those situations, when we outgrow those people, only then we realize that the messages or the lessons which were learned during our journey, during our path, were actually important milestones before we could uh, bring out the true potential inside us. So everything, every problem that comes in our lives is a divine plan, because that's meant to bring out our true potential, that's meant to bring out um, and put us on the right path, or what is meant for us in this lifetime. And which is why the least that we could do ever is that we say gratitude to the universe. We say Shukrana to the Almighty for all the things, for all the solutions that the God has brought to us, for all the problems that the God has brought to us, because um, either in a good way or either in a painful way, um, God is always trying to make us better than the previous version, than who we were the very previous day. And there is another message which is coming from the universe, and it's actually asking you to um, be a rebel. And when I say be a rebel, then let's see that how the current world behaves. Um, Most of the times, you would see that we have people who conform to the society, who conform to the rituals, who conform to the cultures, who conform to a set um, group of belief systems in the society. But who do you really think that are the ones who actually bring a positive change in the universe, a positive change in the world, who put smile on the faces of the people who are undergoing uh, a time of disappointment or embarrassment, a time of extreme grief, agony, and pain in their lives? It's the people who rebel, it's the people who have the courage and the audacity to challenge the so long called systems and places which are not meant for the current times. See, every time and in let's say in every decade or in every 100 years, you would see some rules and guidelines being published by the government, or um, by the universe or by the God itself. Let's assume that for a second. And because those rules and guidelines are meant to bring change, those rules and guidelines are meant to bring um, a positive shift in the overall humanity mindset or consciousness in that particular decade or in those 100 years. However, do you really think that when we move and past that century or past that decade, those rules will still be applicable in the current times? Absolutely not, because every situation or everything in the wider plan of the God or the wider plan of the consciousness is meant for a pardon me, certain time and space. So there is a time factor and there is a space factor, and in he at the center of that time and space um, there is this samsara, there is this world. So the situations are meant to change, the situations are meant to pass, and so are the so-called rules or the regulations or the guidelines of the society, because although those are necessary, but those are not meant to be here permanently. Just like humanity change, just like um, the times change, just like the space changes, the rules, regulations, and guidelines are also meant to change. And when the majority of the world continue to follow those guidelines, even when the guidelines are obsolete or they are not going to work any longer, is when the actual downfall comes, or is actually the growth becomes stagnant. And that's where the rebel comes into picture. See, any rebel who displays the courage to challenge the system or the authority on some things which are not working, then they are actually acting or behaving like the catalyst of the god or the goddess. Why you have this card today? Because somewhere deep down you may have that instinct that you really want to um, bring some positive change in the lives of the people. However, there are going to be obstacles, and unless you move past those obstacles, move past those challenges, unless you be a rebel and challenge the stagnant mindset or challenge the fixed mindset, which is causing problems, which is causing friction in your path to bring in that positive change in the society, there is going to be um, there is going to be that problem, or there is going to be that obstacle which is always going to stand before you and your goal. And that's why sometimes, while it's important that we follow through the guidelines, while the other times it's also important that we raise our awareness and consciousness to a level that we can identify that what is it which is causing friction, and that how can we go ahead and challenge those obstacles and then move past those to bring in the results. So that's a critical message again for you, pile number one. We'll take quick guidance and then we shall close this. Boundaries. So it's in resonance with whatever we just discussed. The universe is asking you to respect um, your boundaries and respect your self-care as well. Over past couple of weeks or past couple of months, I'm feeling that you may have been ignoring the limits. You may have been pushing yourself to an extent that you may have a difficulty in saying no to when you should actually be saying no. Sometimes when we continue to work for a change in the society, then these things happen. Then we become so passive that we do not know when to say no and when to respect our boundaries, because we do not want to hurt the sentiments, or we do not want to hurt the emotions of the people. However, The message today is that you should respect your boundaries, you should respect your time, because it's only the see being um, respectful of the limits of the other people, being respectful of the boundaries of yourself or the other people, actually means that you are buying in more time for yourself, because the universe is wanting you to invest and put in that time on the positive things in your development. Sit back and relax. uh, and that could be possible only when you have a little time for yourself left after the work, which is important because that's going to come only when you set some boundaries and you respect those boundaries also. Because the people are going to come and seek your guidance, support, and help. However, you could only render that guidance, you could only shed that light, you could only um, lend your hand of support when you are fulfilled yourself. So we can never pour from an empty cup. We can only pour when we have something in our kitty, and which is important. So that's why this message has come up. And it's critical that you also follow along this message. So set healthy boundaries, respect yourself and respect others also. It's not only for yourself that you respect your boundaries but forget the limits of the people around you. It's a two-way exchange. You respect your time, you respect your boundaries, and you also respect the time and boundaries of the people around you also, because that's what is happening here, right? In this energy, when you are trying to bring in some change in the society, then it means that the change starts within you first. You become a role model and you set those examples for the rest of the society, or for the rest of the people to follow through. All right, pile number one, we will close it here. I hope you liked it and it does resonate with you. And if it does, do comment, like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the other reading sooner. Take care. Welcome, pile number two. You chose this pile because you were drawn to this card, or you chose this with your date of birth. All right, so let's see the messages which the universe is trying to deliver to you. We'll start with this main card, which is the God card. And for pile number one, as you would have seen, there was that goddess card also. So somehow the energies are relatable, that something big is happening in the divine plan, and that uh, the universe is preparing to be at your highest power, to bring your full potential out into the universe, because the God has a divine plan for you, and which is why this card has shown up today. So if you have time after this, you may check out the pile number one also. There could be some important messages for you there, um, but we'll try to decode the messages for you with this. The first thing that I'm seeing is, um, like I said, that God is preparing you to be at your best, because the universe wants you to put your best foot forward. There could be something with respect to a project. You could be working in a social setting, you could be working in an NGO. There could be a project which could be running and which is in the execution phase now. um, if you are working in an organization, let's say in a corporate or in a company, or even in a government setting, then you may have been exposed to some situations, or let's say many situations of office politics, where You could have been deprived of the opportunities which you really deserved and you really worked for. You put in an effort for those. You could have been deprived of um, the opportunities to grow horizontally as well as vertically or laterally. And it's only because of that office politics. There could be some toxicity around you, which means that some people maybe bringing in that energy. They could not be liking you because you really focus on your work. You really put your best foot forward every day. You really want to bring that positive change. You could be a messenger of God. um, and only when light shows up, then the darkness or the shadow sides also are drawn towards them, right? This is a universal law. This is a law of the universe. When you switch on light at night, you tend to see those flies being drawn to towards the light, because that's how this world behaves. If somebody um, raises their awareness, if somebody raises their light side, then the downside which comes with that is that all the people who are lacking that energy, who are really tired of their heavy energy that they are carrying, they need some light to wash away that darkness. And which is why the this is how the law of the universe, or this is how the Brahmand or samsara works. So you are on your path to bring in that positive shift to the humanity and the mankind, and which is why you have to go through all those situations of extreme pressure, agony, pain, and suffering in the current environment where you are in the current job that you are in a current relationship that you are in. There is extreme pressure. Sometimes I am feeling that there could be um, dominance by the other side, dominance by a group of people. They could be trying to exercise their power and strength, or they exercise their position of authority to control you. That's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm seeing, actually. All right. However, all this pressure is being put on you, or all this pressure is being created so that you realize your true potential, so that you realize your true strength. All right. We'll take a couple of other messages and see what's there. All right. We we have the rebel card. Okay. So it put a smile on my face because this is one of the cards which shown up in the reading for pile number one also. And like we discussed at the beginning of your reading as well, that there could be some messages for you in that pile. So I would encourage you to go back and check that reading as well whenever you have time. But the message is clear here. Um, the universe is actually wanting you to be a rebel now, because um, You are undergoing uh, the agony, pain, and suffering in your current setting, in your current situation, only because of this light side, this divinity which is awakening inside you. Um, for some of you, I am seeing that you could be undergoing a change of extreme transformation internally. And when I say internally, why? Because some of you could be doing some inner work, which is, let's say, some type of Kriya Kundalini work, and your Kundalini energy could literally be awakening. The coil serpent could literally be uncoiling, and the energy could be bringing up, and which is why the card has shown up. But why do we have this rebel card? As you could also hear that in pile number one, is that there is this extreme pain which you have gone through or which you are still going through, because the universe is preparing you for that big uh, ticket, preparing you for that huge leadership role which you are going to take over very soon in your life, very soon in this lifetime, which is meant to happen because you are meant to bring some change. You are meant to bring some relief in the people of those who are still undergoing those problems, who are still undergoing that pain and suffering that you are undergoing. However, that is at the last leg for you, because you have been tested enough and you are being encouraged. Because I'm with these cards, I'm feeling that you have shown that courage to question the stagnant side, or question the protocols, question the guidelines, question the policies which are in place, which are no longer useful. And you really want to change those policies. You want to bring some new guidelines in place so that those guidelines could help people, those guidelines could help the society. However, your bosses, or let's say the authority sitting on you, may not be liking that change, because that could be hurting their inflated egos, and they could be feeling insecure because they could be in that environment for longer periods of time. And then when you challenge somebody who is already holding a position of authority and power for quite a long time, it simply means that you are challenging their existence in this universe. You are challenging their astitva in this universe. And when you challenge somebody's existence, then the natural reaction or the natural response is that they are going to retaliate, right? They are going to make sure that they put in every effort to stop you, because you bringing in this change, you bringing in this positivity, means that their reign is going to come in an end. And naturally, when you challenge somebody's position, authority, somebody's ego, then there are going to be ego battles. That's the law of the nature. That's the law of the universe. That's how it works. But that does not mean that you should stop questioning the stalemate, that you should stop working for the cause that you are born for. Because by delivering these messages to you today, God is actually giving you that validation that the path that you have chosen and the things that you are doing currently uh, are aligned with your soul path and soul purpose, and that you should not stop here. It's a validation that the God is playing by your side, the universe is standing right behind you, and that you should, although you seem to be exhausted today, is what I am seeing and is what I am feeling. Still, the message is that you should keep on walking the path of righteousness. Okay? Under any circumstances of pressure, grief, agony, and pain, never succumb to those situations, never succumb to the pressure, and um, stop eliminating what's the word? Stop emitting the light that you are becoming. And the other message that the universe is asking you to share is that after all these changes or after all these messages, there is a side of you which wants to nurture the people like a mother or a father. Because in oracle or the messages of the universe, we simply have energies, we do not look at the gender. So even if this is the father card, it simply means that um, let's say that you may be trying to reminisce the memories, or you may be undergoing that nostalgia of your childhood memories when you used to spend some really good time with your father or mother, and you may be um, reminiscing that time only because you are undergoing extreme pain and pressure at this situation, especially at your workplace. And whenever we go through these painful situations or experiences, then we tend to reminisce our memories when we actually felt secured. And the most secure feeling for anybody could be the feeling of being in the arms of their parents, being in the arms of their father or mother in the childhood, because that's the most secure place that you feel, right? Um, when every challenge and every obstacle, you feel that if you go and share with your father or mother, then simply they would listen to those, and then they will hug you and they will say some positive things to boost your morale, to boost your strength, and that you could go ahead and fight the world. And that's what you could be feeling now, that once you once you felt that security, once you felt that safety, and that, let's say that you may not have that presence of your father or mother physically, I would say they could be living far or place, or there could be some differences, or they could literally have transcended to the other lifetimes also. That could be the possibility. However, the universe wants to deliver a message that you do not need to feel the lack of anybody, any relationship in your life, because the universe is saying, the God is saying that you could you could say that God or universe is your father, because a father could be standing right next to you or right behind you. You may not be able to see them in the form of a guru, in the form of a teacher, in the form of a friend or somebody else, uh, especially who is older than you in age and who could be um, delivering that word of wisdom in any form. You could consider them as your father, you could consider them as your guru, because those people are actually the manifestation, are actually the physical manifestation of the universe or the God in your life. So you are not alone is the message from the universe. And also that when you regain this sense of security and safety, you also pass on the same sense of security and safety to the people around you who are in need of this. Because when you find that safety in the arms of the God, you also make sure that somebody else who is in need gets that same sense of security and safety in their lives. Okay. All right. Lastly, we'll take a message of guidance and then say, Do we have? Right. See, we have the magic, and we have number three also. Number three in numerology belongs to the planet Jupiter or the Guru. We just talked about Guru, Father. So I'm feeling that you could literally have a guru in your play in your life right now in this situation that you are in, or you could be on your way um, to meet your guru. Um, See, in the scriptures and in the practices, the saints and the wise people always have said that it's the guru who finds you. You never find a guru, because when the student is ready, the teacher shall appear. That's a quote that you would have heard or read in most of the books or in most of the articles or wherever. It's pri- pretty widespread on the social media also these days. But the message for you is that you could be well on your way to meeting the guru, because the guru is has chosen you, and then the guru wants to meet you. And um, after all this pain, and with the blessings of the god guru, and because you are trying to challenge the systems which are not working any longer, you are well on your way to sprinkle some magic in this boring world. um, and after guru enters in your life, there is definitely going to be a stage or a period of extreme healing. And before you meet guru, you actually undergo all these cycles of pain, agony, pressure, abuse. So that's a part of the process, which simply means or validates one thing, that you are on the right path, aligned to your soul destiny. So if you have been feeling or wanting to hear an answer, then I think this reading would give you sufficient messages to think over and be confident and proud of the work that you are doing and the path that you are following. Always remember that um, let's not change your true nature. Let's not change your innocent nature. Let's not change your thoughts and ideas only because the world around you is not helpful, only because the world around you is not supportive, only because the people around you are misbehaving, only because the people around you are not nice. See, if we have darkness around us, then that does not mean that we should put off the light. That simply means that we should put on more light, because darkness is always going to be there. You cannot remove darkness by simply um, removing the darkness, but you could definitely remove darkness by putting on more lights. That's what we must be doing. That's what you must be doing. Do the Continue to do the channel work. I'm sure that you are involved in some sort of kriya work, kundalini work, maybe chakra work. You could be meditating, you could be doing the mantra sadhana or chanting sadhana. With all these things, um, I would give you a free message or a free mantra also today, um, which would help you um, to identify and connect with your guru even faster. Although, again, it's the guru who decides the timing, but you could actually start honoring them by chanting this mantra. This mantra is Om Gur Guruve Namaha. Om Gur Guruve Namaha. Om Gur Guruve Namaha. You can chant this mantra for 27, 54, or 108 times, depending upon your availability. After you chant this mantra, the next mantra that you are going to chant is of the Guru and Lord Shiva himself. Om Namah Shivaya, Shivji Sada Sahai. Om Namah Shivaya, Guruji Sada Sahai. You could again chant this mantra as long as you want. There is no restriction to the number to this mantra. And this is going to connect you with the eternal energies of the Adi Yogi, Lord Shiva, or Guruji, who is both the avatar of Lord Shiva as well as once a physical form uh, of Lord Shiva in the form of a Guru. He may not be present physically now, but his presence is felt more than somebody who could be present physically. So when you start chanting these mantras, you could actually be feeling the energies of a guru in and around your environment. Once you do that, do come back here, send a message, comment. We will conclude this here. Thank you for watching. I hope that it resonates with you, with your current situation, and you may get some um, much needed messages that you really wanted to hear from the universe. Do like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you very soon now. Jai Guruji, Jai Makali. Welcome, pile number 3. You chose this pile because you were drawn to this card. You were drawn to the energy of this card that this card brings, or you chose this card with your date of birth. You have the gambler, and the first message that I am feeling or I'm seeing is that universe is the clear message is that the universe is wanting you or asking you to follow through your intuition. You could be feeling some things, you could be receiving some signs these days, off late, let's say past couple of weeks, and you may be questioning those whether those messages are really true. So this is a validation to your um, question that yes, those messages were true, and that you must be following through your intuition, because your intuition is taking you to places where you are meant to be, because that's what the divine plan is. And now, what's the challenge in this situation? That you could be trying to find answer to your questions of the messages or the dreams that you may be seeing these days of late since past couple of weeks, and you may be searching on social media, on Google, or you should be discussing this with many other people, that you saw this dream and what does this mean, or you saw this sign and what does this mean. So, and some people may be guiding you um toward the answers, while the others may be doubting your intuition in itself altogether. The message really is, and I think you could also hear the alarm ringing in, which is a confirmation. The message is that you do not need to doubt your intuition, although the people around you, some of them could be doubting it, but it's a validation. This message is a validation that your intuition is leading you to the path that you are meant to follow based on your soul path and soul destiny in this lifetime. So you should definitely follow through your intuition and keep moving forward. So Instead of relying on the situations to improve by themselves, because those could be some of the thoughts which could be going through your mind, I would encourage you to put in the effort proactively. Let's say that you need a job, then instead of waiting for the employer to call you, it's important that you update your CV, you update your resume, you upload your resume to the hiring portals. You probably try a subscription and send those email messages to the employer proactively. You actively scrutinize the roles and responsibilities of a new profile. Prepare yourself well in advance on the kinds of questions that could be asked and the kind of responses that you need to draft. This is called as preparation, step by step guidance. Um, Before you land up a job that you really need, instead of fully going blind and then waiting for employer to call in and then um, find yourself caught off guard in one of the questions during the interview stage. That's called as poor planning, or going or relying on sheer luck, which I would not advise you, because I have not had an opportunity to, probably I would say, find a spell of luck in my lifetime or in my career of 20 years in the corporate. So I would actually encourage you to follow through the processes and things that I have followed um, through myself, because I only share what I actually follow through, not just some random things from the books or the articles. So that's the key message for you from this reading. Let's pick a couple of other cards and then see what are the other messages. All right. All right. So it's an important message today, and I actually wanted to take this card because this could be for somebody. I'm not sure who is this for, but um, if it's a message from the universe, then it's a message, right? It must be passed on and it must be delivered. Um, so I'm talking to someone. So there are two sides. I'm talking to someone who could have adopted um, a work which is definitely meeting the people, meeting the clients for their needs, and then you are also earning your livelihood. That's one part of the story. Um, and that's a challenge, right? Because if people actually have to sell off their physical bodies for mere survival, then it's actually I would say a lack or a loophole in the society or in the kind of the world that we have created in. Because if we could not offer enough opportunities of employment, enough opportunities of education to the people, to each and every one of us in the society, then what have we done, right? What have we done in the last 70 years that we have lived in, or in the last 100 years that we have lived in? So the true measure of a progressive society or of a progressive world or a progressive country, in my opinion, would be that you have created enough education opportunities to make everybody capable and equipped of the skills that they need to find the right side of employment, to find the right kind of employment. And then, number two, you have created the right kind of environment and employment to offer them opportunities. And then, third, you also offer them a sense of safety security in the form of health facilities. These are basic needs, right? In any society, in any nation, whether you divide this entire world with the boundary lines, with the LOCs, LACs, does not matter. The I mean, God does not follow through all those kind boundaries or limitations. Um, all of us belong to God. All of us are children of God, and there is a purpose behind um, every soul which takes birth in this samsara, which takes birth in this real world. With this specific card, I would say that it's a message that whosoever is working as a livelihood, um, um, the God is actually wanting you um, to not hold back. I would say, not feel that sense of shame or guilt, because if you actually if this was the only thing and um, you didn't have any other options, or I would say choices left, then you actually do that um, as a sense of work, as a sense of um earning the livelihood or putting food on your table. And on the other side, if I'm speaking with somebody who is going through this um, only to acquire some material possessions, only to feel a sense of empowerment out of this, then I would encourage you to step out of that, because then the message from God is that you stop this, you find something else. Because although these material possessions and considerations could be quick and easy and could give you a sense of safety and security in the meantime, however, would actually cause you harm in the long run. So there are two messages for the two group in this side, and I hope that you take those messages responsibly and seriously. All right. The other message that we have for this group is, pardon me, we have the Prince card. It actually reminds me of a card from the main tarot also, and it looks like that the potential is for um, um, talking to somebody who could be undergoing, let's say, maybe an offer, or who wants to make an offer to their partner. And I'm talking about a relationship here, or they could be getting an offer from somewhere. It could be a message or an offer of an engagement, a marriage. So if you come here and you wanted to hear, or you wanted a confirmation on the message around marriage or engagement, then it's a definite yes. You could either be meeting somebody and making an offer, or they could be making an offer to you. And The word of caution here would be that I would want you to exercise caution here, because sometimes when we see beauty, or when we see charm, or when we see maya around us, then we tend to get away. We tend to um, fall prey to some forms of maya and illusions also. But it's important that you exercise your sense of awareness. You follow your sense of wisdom before you go and do a deep dive into that relationship, because everything that glitters is not gold at the beginning. So exercise that caution um, sooner than later. And with this, at last, we will take a message of guidance, and then we will conclude that. All right. Uh, Pile number 3. I would encourage you to go back and check pile number 2 also, because this is exactly the message that I pulled out for pile number 2 also. So there could be something for you to go back and refer to there. It's a coincidence that you've got this card. However, I'm feeling that um, in this group, especially, my personal take is that there could be somebody who could be under the influence of a spell or magic. Um, and I would encourage you to maybe find a healer, or maybe consult somebody to maybe do a cleansing work on you, or on your aura, around your energy, in your house, in your situation. Or you could do a remedy possibly. Okay. A quick guidance that I could offer you is that whenever you are bathing, try using the rock salt or the sea salt. In fact, whenever you hear this message, try to take a pinch of salt, sea salt especially, and then rotate it anti-clockwise around your head 7 times, and then dispose that, or flush that outside. Maybe flush that in the washroom, in the toilet area. Um, and after that, chant these two mantras that I'm sharing. The first mantra is the Guru mantra and the Shiva mantra. The mantra goes like this: Om Namah Shivaya, Shivji Sada Sahai. Om Namah Shivaya, Guruji Sada Sahai. You chant this mantra as long as you want, at least 108 times. There is no restriction to this. And after you are done with this, you are going to chant and invoke the Devi. The Devi mantra is Om Aing Hring Kling Chamandai Vichai. This is a very powerful occult or tantric mantra. And if there, you could also again chant this 108 times, or as long as you want. Start doing these pretty often, and then if you have been feeling under the influence of some things of late, um, tell me this maybe after chanting these mantras 1 week, probably down the line, how is this going? Or if you need further guidance or further remedies, maybe a session of healing, a session of cleansing of your aura energy, probably lock your aura, then you could definitely send me a message, right? I would advise you to be careful, at least not step out on the nights of the Amawas or the new moon. You can check the calendar. for these nights. It comes once a month. And with that, we will conclude it here. I hope it resonates with you. Do like it. And if you like it, then do share, subscribe, and I'll see you pretty soon in your next reading. Thank you very much for watching. Jai Guruji, Jai Ma Kali.